this should be a pretty great year for Xbox in general. I think obviously having games like Avowed, Hellblade 2, Towerborn, and even Flight Simulator confirmed makes it sort of worthwhile to own an Xbox. On the other hand, there's also games that have been announced previously, like Microsoft has, I believe, 14, 15 first-party games already announced previously throughout the years. I think having any of these games maybe release at some point this year would be pretty cool, to say the least. What I mean by that is, just because they didn't say 2024 on something doesn't mean that it wouldn't release in 2024. You have Hellblade 2, Avowed, like I said, Towerborn. Those games are going to be huge on Xbox. I think that that's going to draw some people in. You also have like the Activision stuff going through, so you're going to get a lot of help on Game Pass with that. When a lot of this other stuff comes into play, I feel like, people kind of maybe undersell it or possibly even underappreciate it. For me personally, though, I'm never underappreciating anything. I know as I get older, just to appreciate every little thing that you get, man, every day, every little thing, because you never know what lies around the corner. So for me anyway, I'm excited to see the future of what Xbox has, and it really just kind of makes me excited because we know that there's probably going to be an Xbox Developer Direct sometime middle of this month, and that's an exciting prospect as well. But even this was pretty cool, in my opinion. Avowed the game and Fable the game on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it have now been verified, which means they're not just verified like they pay the money or whatever, but they're verified in terms of they are now affiliated officially with Xbox. Both have the gold check mark signifying that they're both part of Microsoft Gaming. Xbox are gearing up to better market the games in the coming days, weeks, and or month. So what does this mean? Well, we know that Avowed has a 2024 release date on it, or release year. We don't know as much about Fable because it's been kind of shrouded in secrecy. I don't know personally, will Fable release this year? I'm not saying that because, again, we never know. But what I will say is that Fable, the 20th anniversary for Fable is this year. So the original Fable game came out 20 years ago, and maybe they have something up their sleeves. I don't know. Would Fable be a great game for the end of the year? I think it would be fantastic, right? I mean, who would deny that that would be a great thing? Not only that, but if you look at it, it's so funny to me to see the different places that Microsoft and Sony find themselves, right? Sony made a name for themselves sticking with those big, high-budget single-player games, and, great. Some of them are really, really great. Microsoft, really known for the kind of hybrid games with good single-player and multiplayer, the Gears of Wars, the Halos, that kind of stuff. And the games that so far are, scheduled to come out or even rumored are all single-player games. So it's really incredible to see how far things have kind of changed. Look, Hellblade 2, single player, Avowed, single player, Fable, single player. All this stuff is single player oriented. So that's really cool to see that. It also signals a renewed relationship between Microsoft and Twitter, whose relationship in recent months had been on shaky ground, and they removed the option to share screenshots or whatever. Supposedly they were looking into that, or Elon Musk would, or whatever. But it is nice to see Microsoft take advantage of the benefits of Twitter again, because it is the biggest platform for social media, and so that would really nice to see. That they're going to go out and make sure that they have the account and stuff like that. Could it signal that we expect to see Avowed and Fable at the rumored upcoming Developer Direct? I don't really know. Their release dates are separate story entirely. While it wouldn't be surprising to see something about Avowed earlier in the year, people might be surprised at the Fable thing, especially when the RPG lineup from Microsoft is so stacked. Because again, if you think about it, and I've already mentioned Hellblade 2, it's hard to say if that's really considered RPG. I think that's more action adventure type game, but certainly Avowed is an RPG, Fable is an RPG, South of Midnight, I'm not sure what that is. I think it's more of a action-adventure game as well. But then you have Clockwork Revolution, definitely an RPG. So they have a lot of RPGs in the pipeline, and this is pretty cool to see that they're actually starting to kind of level up and things like that. So, again, I really think that Microsoft is on the right path here. Is it always going to be sunshine and rainbows? No, because we're always going to see some kind of nonsense kind of crop up that we don't want to see, unfortunately. But, I like the fact that Microsoft is kind of going in a positive direction with the actual games, which I guess are kind of the things that matter most when it comes to video games. We want to see, the fact that Microsoft has, great content and that they're getting it out on the content. The bad part is, in my opinion, with Microsoft is that they have mixed messaging a lot of the time, and it's like some members of the Xbox group don't have the exact type of appeal or whatever, or knowledge. It's like, Phil Spencer says one thing, but someone else said something else. Somebody else says something, and then somebody else says something else. It's like, the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing per se, and that's kind of unfortunate to say the least. And again, I really think Microsoft has a lot going for itself. Like, I don't want them to be hasty with anything, wait for the games to be ready, but also, wait for the Activision stuff to go through, see how gamers respond, competitively price your Xbox, push your Xbox on, like, you know what I'm saying? So many people just literally have no type of idea of Xbox or anything like that. You haven't even given them, back-to-back years. Give people multiple years of content to come around, because people don't believe that you're in it to win it, so to speak, right? Like, at the launch, 2020, bad year for content. 2021, great year for content. 2022, terrible year for content. 2023, great year. 2024, it looks like it's going to be a great year. String together some great years. Like, I don't know how else to kind of put it. I hope Microsoft kind of gets their act together with that. I know there's a lot of the negative rumors and stuff kind of floating around, but, for me personally, I want to see Microsoft become even more successful than, they ever have before. And for them to do that, I think you have to kind of really push the fact that Microsoft is competitive there, and they have great games and all this kind of stuff. I hope that Microsoft, responds and kind of sets the expectations, because, even people like to make fun of me for that back in 2016 or whatever it was. Hard to believe that was 8 years ago, and people still bring it up that I quote unquote canceled my Quantum Break pre-order because it was going to PC, and people really kind of got the wrong message. I don't care that a game goes to PC, right? We had no expectations at that time of that, right? So for 3 years, we hear exclusive, and then literally 2 weeks to launch, we hear, oh, well, it's going to PC. So, it is unfortunate, and I thought I was speaking up for consumers or whatever. I mean, it all worked out in the end, but at least we got a clear message. Okay, every game from here on out is first party, day and date PC. Okay, so now we know that. So let us know, like, no matter what, one way or the other. Okay, well, big tentpole AAA releases will stay on Xbox. Smaller stuff, if it has potential, blah blah blah, can end up, whatever. But I wouldn't give Sony anything, because Sony actively pays to keep games off of PlayStation, off of Xbox. So I say they can go screw themselves, as far as I'm concerned. If you have an ecosystem, you have to be able to provide stuff for said ecosystem, at least in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think. Maybe you think differently. But thanks for watching. Rack 'em up. Crab Gamer out.